In a few days it is done. It is manufactured by a Korean company, ST Biosensor in Manesar in Haryana.
All right, almost time to start. We are also going live on Facebook. I'll share the Facebook link as well, and you can ask your friends to log in from there as well. Of course, the video will be there to watch later on as well. So just give me a moment. I'll just share the link here. And Atma Namaste, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well on a Thursday evening. Easy to forget the days of the weeks these days. So, Vaibhav, it's 7:30. Let's start. So, officially, good evening, namaste, and welcome everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're watching us or where you will watch us from. We're very happy to have this session with Vaibhav again. So thank you, Vaibhav, for taking out the time. And thank you all of you for joining in each time we have these sessions, and also for your encouraging feedbacks. So many people write in that these sessions are helping in one way or the other. And that's the whole idea. So I won't waste any more time, hand it over directly to Vaibhav now. Vaibhav, all yours.
Yes. Thank you, Nina. Good evening, good morning, like what Nina said, to wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let's start this session without further delay. So today we are going to talk about a very scary topic, not a scary topic. The name is fear. Okay, so we'll talk about what exactly is fear and how it affects our life on various levels and how to overcome it. Okay, so we are gonna practice certain few things in this session that might help you to relax also. Okay, so I'll open my PowerPoint. I'll share my screen. Please be patient. Thank you. Yes. So breaking fear, the energy approach. Okay, so let's try to understand what is fear basically. See, fear is a reaction shown by the body to a certain stimulus. This stimulus can be actually there, or sometimes it can be imaginary also. Okay, so fear is a kind of response shown by your body or your mind to a certain stimulus. Okay, now fear is one of the responses. It's one of the survival responses, I would say. Okay, because if you're not scared all the time, that's not a sign of survival. For example, if I tell you to blindfold and cross the busiest street in New Delhi, definitely you have to be scared. Okay, that is so fear is actually one of the survival instincts. So if you're scared of something, it is good. So it means you will live. Okay, so fear is some kind of a response to a stimulus, okay, which is very, very practical, and it is very necessary also. So there is nothing wrong to be scared of some things. Okay, so that shows that you have some head. Okay, but there is something that we need to understand. What is the wrong thing about fear? Okay, so first we should understand what is a realistic fear and what is an unrealistic fear, because like I said, fear is one of the survival instincts. You should need it. So those kinds of fear are called as realistic fear. Okay, things that you should be really scared of. Now there are certain things that are called as unrealistic fear. These things have to be eliminated. Okay, because these unrealistic fear, it makes no sense. We are scared for nothing. Okay, so we'll try to understand that. So what is a realistic fear? So realistic fear is something which is actually a threat for you, a threat for your existence, a threat for your finances, a threat for your health, a threat for your relationships. It can be anything. Okay, so it is a real threat. So that is why it is called as a realistic fear. For example, you should be scared to go around in this COVID situation without wearing masks or without taking necessary precautions. Why? Because we might get infected. Okay, so that is something called as a realistic fear. You should have that. Why you should have that? To survive. Okay, to protect yourself, or to protect your family, or to protect your health. So realistic fear is important in life. Okay, now what is unrealistic? Unrealistic fear is something that is baseless. It doesn't make sense to be scared of something. For example, when I was young, I was scared of injections. I think most of you are scared. Okay, so I was very scared of injections. To me, injection was like a demon. So I would run away when I see an injection, or sometimes I would sweat even if someone is taking injection. Okay, so I was scared of injection. Now, injection fear is unrealistic, because if you have, I think all of you have taken injections, so you know that the pain lasts only for, let's say, few seconds. Okay, in the olden days when I was young, we used to have this sterilized needles. Yeah, I think some of you have experienced that also. These sterilized needles are quite painful, because they will boil those needles, they will sterilize it, and then they'll reuse it. Nowadays it's all disposable needles, so you'll hardly feel any pain now. Okay, so even though there was some kind of pain, it's not life threatening. Okay, another example is some people are scared of cockroach. If there is a cockroach in a certain room, they would not enter that room. Now, technically speaking, it doesn't make sense, because if you step on the cockroach, who will die? The cockroach will die. The cockroach has to be scared of you. That is a realistic fear. Now, if you are scared of a cockroach, that is unrealistic, because number one, cockroach cannot kill you. It's not venomous. Okay, number two, if cockroach comes on you, nothing happens. Okay, so but still people freak out when they touch a cockroach, or if the cockroach runs on their feet. Yeah, so these kinds of fear are unrealistic fear. Okay, so I hope you have understood between what is a realistic fear and what is an unrealistic fear. Okay, next step. Now let's try to understand the causes of the fear. Okay, so there are three causes that actually I could try. See, there are many causes, and all those causes can be broadly classified into three categories. Okay, number one is a past experience. Okay, so what is a past experience? Let's say you went to swimming camp. Okay, swimming camp, and your trainer is teaching you how to swim. You are almost, learning to pedal your hands and pedal your legs, and suddenly a trainer takes you and throws you in a 10 feet pool. There you will get the shock of your life. You never expected that your trainer will do that, and suddenly he'll hold your hand, he'll slowly take you there, and he'll push you there. Now that is what many people do actually, which is actually bad. It's not a good practice. Okay, some people will overcome that. They will learn how to swim, they will remember what they have practiced, and they will use that pedaling thing. But there are some children, they freak out. It's a trauma for them, so they start drowning, they start drinking that water, and they have to go and lift them up. Okay, that is a bad experience. So someone who had that experience, next time they will not like to swim. Okay, the sight of the water, they will step away. They say, no, 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 I had a bad experience. Okay, sometimes if you had an accident in the childhood, and that fear always lasts. So some people don't learn how to drive. Why? Because they had an accident in the past. I was treating a patient. There was this couple, they were going on a flyover on a two-wheeler. Okay, and then what happened? A car from behind, it hit their vehicle, and both of them, they fell down. Okay, luckily they didn't fly off the flyover. They just fell down there in the road, and they had some bad injuries. Okay, so after this incident, the lady who was the pillion rider, she developed a kind of phobia. Okay, so anytime she goes on the flyover, she would panic. The heartbeat would increase. Suddenly the hands and legs starts to shiver, and even though she is going in a car also, she would tell the driver not to go on the flyover. Okay, now this is something bad, because imagine you're in a city like Bangalore or New Delhi, and you decide not to go on the flyover just because of something that happened in the past. That is bad actually. So the lady had a bad experience, and because of that she developed a fear. Now, what is programming? Now, programming is something which people put into your mind. Okay, I'll give you my own example. When I was young, I used to stay with my grandparents. Okay, so I would not eat certain types of vegetables when they cook in the house. So my grandparents would tell me that, look, Vaibhav, if you don't eat, your parents will be upset on us. They will think that we are not taking good care of you. So what we'll do is we will take you to a doctor, and the doctor will put all the, what do you say, the required energy by your body into an injection, and they're going to inject you. Okay, now you have an option: either you eat or you take injection. Okay, so please mute your phones. I request all of you to mute your phones. Whenever I would refuse to eat, they would say, Vaibhav, let's go. Where? Doctor. Okay, so that is how I actually developed the phobia towards injection, because every time they were telling me, and they used to tell me that injection will be painful. Okay, so you decide whether you want to eat or you want to take injection. So it was told repeatedly, and I developed a kind of phobia towards injections. So I still remember I was doing my first 11th grade, and then I had a viral fever. I was in with a doctor, and the doctor was preparing the injection. I was scared. I was sweating already, and I told the doctor, "Doctor, please don't give me the injection. You can tell my dad that you have given the injection. I can take extra money, okay, but don't give me the injection." So the doctor was laughing. He said, "How old are you?" 16. Okay, you're a 16-year-old boy, and you're still scared of injections. I said, "I don't know all that. Okay, you give me injection, I will not take it. I will go to an Ayurvedic doctor." Okay, so they were laughing actually. Finally, I didn't take the injection. Why? There was a program of the past in my mind. A lot of people are scared of things because someone told them. Someone told them that it is dangerous. Someone told them that it is painful. Someone told them that it's an unpleasant experience. Okay, so this kind of constant programming creates lots of inhibitions and fears in people. Even in the school, for example, I have seen some teachers, they say, this subject is difficult. You better study hard. Now, the moment we open that book, this thought comes to our mind. Oh, this subject is difficult. So what happens? We will get less marks in the subject. Okay, so it is a program. Okay, so sometimes people say, don't go there, don't go here. It's dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. So people get scared of that. Children, they say, if you don't eat, we will, the police mama will come and he'll take you away. There is a very common thing in South India. They say, police, we will give you to the police. Now this guy grows up. The moment police comes and talks to him, his legs will start to shake. Okay, so these are all programs. Okay, number 3 is poor self-image. Now poor self-image also creates lots of fears. Okay, now how does this happen? This happens usually in the childhood. Okay, especially when people are compared. Okay, so when people are compared to each other, they say that guy is better than you, this person is getting good marks, this person is winning in the sports, this person is doing this job better than you. So when they keep saying that, okay, it could be parents, it could be friends, it could be school teachers, whoever. Okay, so they usually compare, and they make the child feel useless or less productive or not good in whatever they do. So due to this constant comparison, what happens? People develop poor self-image. Now, because of this poor self-image, they always depend on others. Okay, they always depend on others. If they want to take something, hey, can I take this? They want to buy something, they say, can I buy this? They want to do something, they say, can I do this? Whom they will ask? They'll ask someone, their friend or their elders. In fact, there is something called as last born syndrome. I don't know how many of you have heard of that. Usually, if let's say there are 3 children in a family, the last one, the third child, will have this poor self-image. Why? Because everyone will say, you are a small person, you are a small boy, you are a small girl, chotu they call, and they say, no, you can't do this, we will do this for you. So nothing will be allowed to do. So this last born person will always feel that whatever he or she has to do has to be approved by the senior. Okay, it can be an elder sibling or by the parents. Now this person is already 30-year-old and still his brothers and his parents call him as Chotu. Okay, so that is a poor self-image. So like that, people sometimes experience comparison, or according to the uh, seniority or this thing, they develop this poor self-image. That also creates kind of different types of fears in them. Okay, so let's try to understand what are the effects of fear. Okay, so number one, fear leads to failure. Number one is the most important factor here. Let's say someone was told that a particular subject is difficult. Okay, so in the exam, there are high chances that this student will fail in that exam or will score less marks in that subject. Why? Because it was a program. Okay, so when someone whom you respect, whom you love, or whom you care about, they constantly say something, we tend to believe that. And that what happens, it creates strong fear in us. So it creates a kind of limitation in whichever field we are. Okay, we may be in sports, we may be in studies, we may be, let's take an example of simple example of cooking. If someone constantly says this is difficult, this is that is difficult, you can't cook, so they will start failing, so they'll do some mistake. Next, fear leads to anxiety attacks. Okay, so this is a very common symptom in many people. They are constantly worried about what if something goes wrong. Okay, so this fear creates a kind of anxiety, and the anxiety has many effects. Okay, it will increase the heartbeat, it will make them sweat. Some people have diarrhea because of anxiety, some people start vomiting because of anxiety. I've seen one person, uh, whenever this person experiences anxiety, the person will start vomiting. Okay, people will think this person has a stomach infection. There is no stomach infection. Anxiety is creating vomiting. The moment we do pranic healing, we do psychotherapy, then immediately the vomiting will stop. Okay, so that is one of the effects. Next, difficulty in communication. Why? Because of the fear, they cannot express themselves. Why they cannot express themselves? Again, poor self-esteem. They may think that they are not good in saying something, or they may miscommunicate whatever they say. So because of that, the communication itself will be affected. Okay, someone says, okay, you stand up, say something, the person will be scared. Or sometimes he wants to say something, but they cannot say it. Why? Because of the fear. Because of fear towards, let's say, public, or poor self-image, or fear towards a particular subject. Okay, so that will affect their ability to communicate what they want to communicate. Okay, now always remember, 80% of your life, whatever happens in your life, okay, it can be a relationship, it can be a profession, whatever, almost 80% of it is affected by the way you communicate. Okay, imagine if you cannot communicate properly, if you cannot share your feelings properly, if you cannot send a message or send information properly, it creates a mess. Maybe you didn't mean that, but the way you said it created a different kind of meaning to people. Okay, so that will be understood by people. They will draw their own conclusions, and they will say this guy did this person said that, they didn't say this, whatever. So it leads to a lot of communication problems. Why? Because of fear. Because of fear, they cannot communicate certain things clearly, and sometimes the communication will be altered. So that gives lots of bad experiences in life. Okay, next, depression and loneliness. Now why does this come? Because of constant failure and rejection. So what happens, the person may develop depression, and they will think that I'm not good for anything, my life is useless, all that. You know that depression can also lead to suicide. Okay, so that's another bad effect of fear. They're constantly scared of certain things, they're constantly worried about communicating certain things or doing certain things. They start feeling that they're completely useless, they are non-productive, or they're not successful in life. And that kind of fear of failure will completely destroy their ambitions, it will destroy their dreams, and it can push a person into an acute depression and also loneliness. They start feeling that nobody likes them. Okay, and the last effect is obsession. What is obsession? Repeated thinking. Repetitive thinking about certain thing is called as obsession. Okay, sometimes I think you have heard, you have seen, you have met these people. You say something, okay, they reconfirm that. They again ask you, hey, was this good? Let's say, for example, you go to someone's house, they prepare something for you and they give you that. You have it and you told the food is good. Okay, again they will ask, hey, was the food good? Yes, it was good. Hey, was the salt good? Yes, it was good. Was the spice good? Yes, it was good. Was the quantity correct? So they keep asking same things. Okay, why do they ask so many questions? Because they are obsessed. They're obsessed about getting praising from someone. Okay, they constantly want to be praised. They want people to reaffirm that they are liked or something like that. Why does this obsession come? Because of fear. They are scared because of what happened in the past. Maybe they were rejected, maybe there was a poor self-esteem, so they keep asking for reaffirmations. Okay, so they keep going back to the same thing and they keep having a loop. You know, if you have a music loop, it starts playing from the same track. So something like that, they keep going back to the same thing. They keep connecting everything to the same thing, and they will get a kind of mental obsession. Sometimes this can lead to OCD. What is OCD? Obsessive compulsive disorder also. Okay, so they start doing certain things like washing the hands repeatedly, taking bath repeatedly, or touching certain things repeatedly. So they keep doing that. Why? Because they're obsessed. Okay, why does this happen? Because again, going back to the same root, the fear can lead to obsession. This kind of obsessive disorders makes them feel comfortable. They start doing that 2-3 times, they feel that okay, everything is good. Okay, they don't do that, their mind starts overthinking, and they will spoil their happiness. Not only that, they will spoil other people's life also. Why? Because imagine someone keeps asking you same things, or connecting everything to the same situation that happened in the past. It will spoil happiness. Okay, so this becomes mental obsession. So all these are some of the effects of fear. There can be more effects of fear, but this is what I could actually find out. Okay, there are many books, there are many articles that are available on fear. If you read them, and most of it you can actually categorize into one of these things, effects. Okay, now let's talk about solutions also. Now I think we have understood what is a fear. Okay, so fear is a survival instinct. It's one of the responses by the body. Then we understood what is unrealistic fear and what is a realistic fear. Okay, then we understood what are the root causes of fear. Then we also understood the effects of fear. Okay, now all these things, whatever I told you, the effects, it affects your life on all levels. Okay, what levels? Health wise, it can affect your health. Number 2, it can affect your relationships. Okay, if you keep asking the same question, anyone who loves you, at one point of time they get irritated. Okay, and third point is it will affect your finances also. Why? Definitely it will affect your finances. Why? Your productivity will go down. You'll not do new things because you feel you're not good at it, or maybe you don't want to invest somewhere with a little bit of risk. See, in business there is always this risk. Someone failed once, it doesn't mean that he will be a failure all the time. You ask any successful person, did they start becoming successful from day one? The answer will be no. Most of them, the answer will be no. Why? Because of their persistence, they didn't give up. They failed, and they continued to do it. Okay, so fear can affect your life also. It can affect your health, it can affect your relationships, it can affect your finances also. Okay, now let's go into the solutions. Okay, now before we actually talk about solutions, we should try to understand about ourselves. Okay, so we think that, okay, me means this physical body. Okay, we always identify ourselves with the physical body. We think, okay, we have this physical body. Now if you see some of the paintings of the avatars or the prophets or the messiahs from various religion. It can be any religion, any holy person. If you see the paintings, show a kind of light around the head area. I think you have seen that. Okay, so this light is called as halo. So you see that there is a bright light around the head area. Now, according to uh, the studies, okay, scientific studies, also the ancient literatures, the Vedic or the Upanishads, they also talk about different shariras. What are shariras? Bodies, bodies. So we know only about one sharira, that is called as the Annamaya Kosha, that is the physical body. But if you study some of these Upanishads, they also say that Annamaya Kosha is just one sharira. You also have Pranamaya Sharira, uh, Manomaya Sharira, and like that. There are many, many koshas or shariras on a human being. In fact, if you want to study more about that, you can read some of the yoga books. But I would strongly suggest that you should read a book written by Master Choa Kok Sui. It's called as Achieving Oneness with the Higher Soul. Achieving Oneness with the Higher Soul, written by Master Choa Kok Sui. Now, Master Choa Kok Sui is the founder of modern pranic healing and arhatic yoga. Okay, I'll talk about what pranic healing is in my future slides, but this is just for now. Okay, so if you want to understand more about these shariras, you should read that book. It's very interesting. Okay, so let's come back. So we have this Annamaya Kosha, that is your physical body, and we also have this Pranamaya Kosha, okay, which can be called as aura. I think you have heard of this word, very commonly used. They say this person has a bright aura, big aura, loving aura, peaceful aura. You have seen in certain books. So this aura is nothing but the Pranamaya Kosha. Okay, it is the body of light that extends beyond your physical body. It means it is inside your physical body also. Okay, so the energy body, okay, is inside your physical body and it is extending around your physical body. Okay, so the paintings, what you see of the rishis or the avatars, it just shows a part of the aura. The halo is actually a part of the aura, but that is not the aura. The aura is bigger than that. Okay, if you see this picture, okay, you can see the light around this lady. Okay, so that is the aura. Okay, so different people have different sizes of aura depending on how healthy or how spiritually the person is evolved. Okay, so this is basically the energy body. So the energy body coexists with the physical body. Now, what does that mean? It means the energy body is inside your physical body and it is extending outwards. Okay, just to help you understand, imagine that you have a big bucket of water. Okay, and you have a sponge in your hand. Now you dip that sponge inside the bucket. Now the next question is, where is water? The water is still in the bucket. Is the water inside the sponge also? Yes, because sponge is porous. The water enters the sponge. The water is inside the sponge, and the water is also around the sponge. So the sponge is your physical body. Okay, your physical body contains the energy body, and the energy body extends beyond the physical body. Now these two bodies, they affect each other. Okay, I'll explain the scientific this thing to you. Now, way back in 1939, there was this Russian scientist. His name was Dr. Simon Kirlian. Himself and his wife, they developed a technique, okay, called as Kirlian camera. There is a saying, no, every successful man has a woman behind, something like that. So himself and his wife, they developed this camera. Now, according to this camera, it says that there is a kind of biomagnetic field. They use the word biomagnetic field around the physical body. Okay, and this biomagnetic field can be captured using a Kirlian camera. Now, if you Google Kirlian camera or energy photography, you will come across varieties of cameras. Now it has improved. See, this was way back in 1939. Now there are modern versions of the Kirlian camera with different names also. So ultimately, all these cameras, what they do is they can capture the aura around the body. In fact, our Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, also says in some of his speeches, one speech I still remember, it's in YouTube, you can search that. He talks to this AIMS graduates, okay, the medical graduates, and he tells them that there is a science called as auric science or energy science that is growing very fast. And this energy science can actually indicate the weak spots or the problematic areas in a person's health. And he suggests that medical students actually should study that to have a holistic approach towards health, because just that treating the physical body in many cases may not be a very effective treatment. Okay, so that is why he suggests the medical students that you should equip yourself with all these sciences that are coming. This is not a new science, basically, it's an ancient science. Go back to Upanishads, it is there. Now, let's come back to this picture. Now, if you look at this picture, there is a picture saying before healing and after healing. Now, this picture was taken at the Yoga Vidya Pranic Healing Foundation of Karnataka. Okay, this was in the late 90s. There was this camera in our foundation also. So this patient had diabetes and neuropathy. You know what is neuropathy, right? So they will have a pricking sensation in the fingertips. So the person's photo was taken. That is before healing. You can see so many imbalances. I think around 10 sessions of pranic healing was done, and some of his symptoms, the neuropathy symptoms reduced, and sugar levels also reduced. And later one more picture was taken. You can see the difference. So the picture after healing is brighter and more uniform compared to the previous one. I don't say it is a perfect aura, because still you can see lots of imbalances there, but definitely compared to the condition before healing, the energy is much better. So like that, we have done several studies on the energy body. So all these studies indicate one thing. Okay, it indicates that the physical and energy body, they not only coexist, but they also affect each other. What affects one will affect the other. If your physical body is sick, the energy body is affected. If your energy body is affected by stress and other emotions, it will affect your physical body also. So like that. So the doctors are treating the physical body. The pranic healers, they actually treat the energy body. So when the treatments are integrated, it's a kind of holistic approach. So the person can experience health rapidly. So let's coming back to the topic of fear. When someone has lots of emotions, negative emotions or fear, it sometimes appears as darkish clouds in the aura. Okay, now those things, some of those bright things are not fear. There are some dark clouds you can see around the shoulder. Those things are actually related to fear. Fear appears like a smoke or a dark cloud in the aura. Okay, so because of the fear, it has effects on your mind. Because of these energies, it has effects on your mind and your body. Okay, so it affects your mind and your body, because the aura affects your physical body. So these thoughts, the fear thoughts or the energies of fear, initially affect your aura, and then it affects your physical body also. Okay, so how to deal with this? Now to deal with this, we can actually do pranic healing. Okay, so before going into pranic healing, I would like you to do a simple experiment. Okay, let's do an experiment on feeling the energy. Okay, so let's get back. Okay, I want all of you to press the center of your palm and all your fingertips just once. Okay, now curl your tongue, okay, facing upwards, and touch it to the palate. Connect your tongue to your palate. Okay, if someone is sitting next to you, don't connect your tongue to their palate. Just joking. You connect your tongue to your palate. Okay, keep your hand like this, about 5 centimeters away from each other. Inhale and exhale slowly. Now slowly move your hands away and bring them closer. Move them away and bring them closer. Okay, keep your armpit slightly open. Okay, don't keep it like that. Okay, just relax your shoulders. Okay, just do like this. Inhale and exhale slowly. Now, if some of you are sensitive, you may feel a kind of pressure between your palms, or a kind of tingling sensation. Or some of you may also feel a warming or a cooling sensation. Okay, try rotating your hands like this. and be aware of the center of your palm and your fingertips. Okay, change the direction. Do you feel something? Yeah. Okay, so if you're feeling something, you can type in the chat box. Okay, so you can just type how you felt in the chat box, so we'll know that you have felt something. Okay, like I said, some of you may experience pressure or a warming or a cooling sensation. Okay, some kind of pressure or vibration. Thank you for your feedback. Vaishali also says yes. Okay, some of you are already pranic healers. You know what happens. Okay, so I want the common public who have not studied pranic healing also to answer what you felt. Okay, so yes, thank you. Some of you are sharing your experiences. Good. Okay, so let's get back to the slide. I'm going to explain why this happened. Sorry about all these technical things. We have a network problem here, so I depend on my mobile phones, and I have to do all this drill every time I have to open the PPT. Okay.
You have to actually be grateful to technology that is allowing us to access all these sessions and reach out despite the fact that there is a lockdown.
Yeah. In that way, definitely we appreciate that. But I request the audience to be patient when I do all these things. Okay. Yeah. So if you see this picture, you can notice that there is some kind of rays of light going out of the palm center and the fingertips. Okay. So the Chinese, they call it as acupoints. Okay. Now the Indians, they call it as chakras. So these chakras are actually energy centers located in the energy body. They're not on the physical body. So don't try to search for these chakras on your hands. You will not see them. So they're the part of your aura. Okay, they're whirling energy centers. They control and energize various organs and mental functions in your body. So in the palm also there are some chakras. So when you press them and when you keep your hands facing each other, you can actually experience all these sensations which you actually experience now. Okay. Now going back to the next slide, let's talk about how pranic healing can help in overcoming the fear. Now, if you see this picture, there are two things you can see. One, this guy has a knee. Okay, there is some kind of grayish energy around the knee. Okay, so the hand is trying to remove that. Okay, and in the other image, you can see the healer is projecting some kind of light towards that lady. Okay, so we'll quickly explain what pranic healing is. Pranic healing is basically an ancient science of using energy to heal diseases, and it's used for other purposes also. Okay, so we all know that the body heals itself. Okay, you all know that, right? If someone's leg is broken, the doctors, they put a cast. So after a month, the bones fuse by themselves, right? Now imagine your table in your house, it has a broken leg, and you put a cast around the leg. After 1 month, if you remove the cast, do you think the leg of the table is fixed? It is not fixed. So anything that is living has an ability to heal or repair itself. Okay, this all of us know. Most of the problems are healed by the body itself. Now the question is, if the body can heal itself, then why do we have to take medicines when someone has asthma or when someone has a high blood pressure? Okay, that's an interesting question. So why is the body not able to repair itself? Now to understand this, we should understand that we all have energy body. Okay, so this energy body is like a battery. It's like a mobile phone battery. Imagine your mobile phone has a low power. Let's say it has 10% of battery life, and you're outside your house, you don't carry a charger with you. So what you will do, you will reduce the screen brightness, you will switch off many of your apps, and you'll switch off your mobile data, and then you will just use the phone for receiving or making phone calls. Has that happened to you in the past? Yeah. So this is what happens. And unfortunately, most people today, the aura is like this 10% battery. So what happens? By the end of the day, they all are exhausted. Okay, so they become irritable, they get stressful, and now every now and then you have cold, cough. Okay, every now and then there is allergy. There is so many things the body experiences. The body is not able to repair itself. Why? Because low battery. People are literally dragging their bodies. If you see in the evening, I have seen many people who finish their job and they are going home in the public transport. When I see their faces, they're literally dragging their body. They just go home, sleep, or just eat something, gulp food, and they just sleep. Okay, so life has become so mechanical. So there is no kind of excitement in the face. Okay, long face, and emotionally also they have low energy. Anything that happens, they start screaming and fighting in the road. Okay, they forget whatever they have achieved. They'll just fight like dogs in the road. So there is no emotional tolerance also. Why? Because the aura has less energy. So the apps of patience, the apps of self healing, the apps of mental clarity, the apps of intuition is not working. Why it is not working? Because the energy is low, the battery is low. Okay, so you need to recharge that battery. Okay, so once the battery is recharged, you will start feeling peaceful, you start feeling happy. Even some people you see, even if they're going in the evening, they're joyful, they're excited that they will see their loved ones. The moment they go home, they express their love, their affection to their family. Okay, they're smiling, and they don't fall sick like many people. Hardly, maybe once in a year they fall sick. Even in this situation, current situation, COVID, there are many people, primary contacts, who are exposed to the virus. You all know that, right? Not everyone is having the infection. Not everyone is getting the infection. There are few people who are getting infected. Why? This could be one of the reasons. I'm not saying this is the absolute reason. Okay, this could be one of the reasons. The battery is charged. So the battery is charged, the immune system is strong. So the virus comes, it just knows how to fight with it. Okay, so that's why it's extremely important to know how to use this uh, universal energy to charge your batteries. Okay, which is called as prana in Sanskrit. So in pranic healing, what we do is, when someone has a disease, the body is not able to repair itself. There is this darkish clouds in the affected part. So we try to clean that first. Okay. After cleaning that, then we charge that area with fresh prana. So these are the fundamental steps in pranic healing. So the moment we do this, the person starts to feel a kind of relief. They say, "Oh, I'm feeling better." Some kind of relaxation, some kind of this thing will reduce. Okay, so let's not believe this blindly. Okay, so we'll do an experiment. Okay, so the experiment is very simple. I want one of you to volunteer who has not done pranic healing courses. I don't want pranic healers to volunteer because they know what happens. Okay, I want someone who has not studied pranic healing. If they have a minor pain or discomfort in the body, let's say neck pain, shoulder pain, leg pain, back pain, simple ones. Don't tell I have a back pain since 10.
You can raise your hand, or you
Just
can
raise your hand, and we will pick you up.
raise the virtual hand also, and then we'll put you online. And
Okay,
any
not raise your hand in the video, in the chat. We can't see all your videos. Or just type a message. Okay,
currently,
me,
okay,
Tanvir.
currently, let me just
Karanveer.
a moment. Let me just find you and since Karanveer said first. Okay, Karanveer, can
They
you
are searching for Karan.
and then I'll spotlight your video. Can you please put on your video?
Yes. Please put on your video. I would like to see a beautiful face. No, just to see you. Because we need to connect before we heal.
Yeah. So if you can put on your video, then
Yes.
yeah, there you are.
Karanveer, you can start speaking.
Oh,
You
that's
can unmute yourself. You can unmute your mic. Thank you. Unmute. I can't hear you. You need help. Yeah, thank you. Now it's unmuted. Speak. So tell me, what's your problem?
It's headache actually.
Headache, which part?
Yeah, this one. So
Okay, on your right
from
side.
that and that, yeah.
Okay. So in a scale of 1 to 10, how severe it is? 10 means very, very bad. Okay, how severe it is? Is it 10? Is it 5? Is it 4? How severe it is?
Okay. Yesterday is too much headache, but now is less than from yesterday.
Yeah. So how much is it? Can you scale it?
It's a 6.
6? Okay.
Yeah.
So can you just touch your head? Just see how it feels. Just do like this. You feel the headache when you do that? Okay, fine. Anyway, your mic is again muted. You need to unmute your mic. So I'll be doing healing for you now. Okay, just you can just relax, mentally say you will accept the healing. Okay, so the first step, like we showed in the video, is to clean. So I'm gonna remove the dirty energy from that part.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the first step. It looks funny. Okay, don't laugh.
दिख ही नहीं
This-
रहा है।
but we'll see what
मेरे
happens.
आवाज नहीं दिख रहे।
Okay, some people say that how does this work? You don't touch the person and the person is far away from you. Now the answer is we are living in a world of wireless technology. You know, you can move your hand and change the channel in a TV. We have smart TVs today. So why do you need to touch someone when you want to heal them? Okay, so the energy has no limitations and boundaries. So I'm just trying to clean that area which she mentioned. Okay, now don't try this at home because this needs special training. So you need to attend classes and learn this. Don't imitate this. Okay, this is just for your understanding. Just see how it happens. That's all. Karanvi, do you experience something? You need to unmute your phone.
Yeah, actually my name is Mandeep.
Huh?
My name is Mandeep.
Mandeep. Okay, Mandeep,
Yeah.
how do you feel?
It's
In the
better.
head area.
It's a light.
Hmm?
Sorry?
In the head area, how do you feel now? Is it still the same pain?
No, it's little light. See, this
It's
is
light? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now I have cleaned the head area. So I still have to project some healthy prana to the affected part. So I'm going to do that now. Now, if I transfer my energy to her, my energy will reduce. So I'm not going to give my energy to her. I will absorb energy from the nature. And with my other hand, I will transfer that energy to the affected parts. Okay, Mandeep, can you just mentally say, I thankfully accept the healing energies? Just say that I will accept all the healing energies.
I will accept the all energies.
Okay, good. Thank you. How is your head feeling now?
It's now better.
Okay, so in a scale of 1 to 10, how much is it now? Earlier it was 6. Now how much do you rate?
Yeah, it's a 9 actually. Yeah, little point is more.
You're telling ulta. You're telling ulta actually.
It's 1 point left. Yeah.
पहले 10 था, जब बहुत ज्यादा आपको दर्द हो रहा था और पहले 10 था, तो अभी कितना है? 10 मतलब बहुत ज्यादा है, 1 मतलब कम है, तो 1 की तरफ गया है कि बढ़ गया है?
पहले 6 था ना आपका पेन का लेवल?
50% से कम है.
Very good. So it's less than 3 now. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for volunteering. Yes. So that's the effect of healing. So if someone has fear or phobia, we do the same thing. So we try to remove those, those grayish clouds in the aura, and we start transferring healthy energy. The person starts experiencing a kind of relief. Okay, so that kind of anxiety, that kind of fear, or the repetitive thoughts gradually reduce. I'm not saying in one session it will just go away like that. Okay, we are not some kind of magicians here trying to just do like that and heal you in one session. It's not possible. So let's be practical. If something is there in you from the last 10-15 years, you cannot expect that to go away in one session. So you have to take repeated sessions like this, or you can actually learn pranic healing courses, and then you can actually know how to heal yourself. Not only heal yourself, heal your family members also. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Okay, so I'm doing the screen share again. So the next slide. Oh, again, it went back to the first. Okay, yeah. So we have seen all this. It's a good recap for you because of the technology error. Okay, types of fear. Then we studied about causes of fear. Sorry. Then we studied about effects of fear. Solutions, we're talking about energy body. Okay, so you actually felt the energy. Then I also demonstrated how pranic healing is done. This is one solution. Second solution is twin hearts meditation. It's a beautiful meditation where you concentrate on two energy centers. Okay, one is the heart chakra and the other one is the crown chakra. These are the centers in your energy body. You concentrate on these chakras and you become an instrument of God, and you channelize that energy to the whole planet. Okay, this is a beautiful meditation which is conducted online. Okay, even Nina is conducting this. She will talk about this by the end of the session. So she does this regularly online. So if you are interested, you can join this session and you can also participate. Okay, so this is a free thing that we actually give to all the people. So anyone who is interested can join another session on twin hearts meditation with Nina, and you can actually, she will explain the complete protocol as to how to do this meditation. It just takes 21 minutes. That's all. Very simple, very powerful meditation. So what happens when you start blessing the whole world? A lot of energy starts passing through you. Okay, so it's like a pipe that is blocked and you start putting water with high pressure, so the blockages get expelled. So in the same way, when you do twin hearts meditation, a lot of old negative thinking patterns and used up energies in the aura just gets disintegrated. Okay, and you start feeling extremely happy and blissful. So this is a very special meditation which all of you should try. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Now, deep breathing. Okay, so there are many types of pranayama actually. So always remember, whenever you have to do pranayama, when you inhale, your abdomen should expand. Okay, so why does it happen? See, your lungs, when you inhale, it has to expand. It cannot expand frontally because it is covered by three sides by bones, what we call as a rib cage. So the lungs has no choice. It will expand downwards. So downwards, when the lungs expand, it pushes the diaphragm. Diaphragm is a thin layer of muscle supporting the lungs. The diaphragm goes down, pushing the stomach out. So when you inhale, your stomach comes out. So when you exhale, the stomach comes inside. Okay, in yoga, they call it as anulom vilom. You just inhale slowly and exhale slowly. So you have to push your stomach outside. Okay, so if you do deep breathing, it has a calming effect on your mind. So when you're feeling anxious, when you're getting scared of something, or let's say you want to do a presentation and you're feeling very anxious about it, just do anulom vilom for about 10 times. Inhale slowly and exhale slowly. Okay, so there are other alterations also. Some people, what they do is when they inhale, they hold it for 1 or 2 seconds. And also when they exhale, they hold it for 1 or 2 seconds. Okay, so this type of breathing also helps. Okay, so there is a pause between inhaling and exhaling. Okay, so this breathing is more powerful than just doing normal inhale and exhale. You can pause your breath just for 1 or 2 seconds and exhale 1 or 2, pause for 1 or 2 seconds. Okay, so this type of breathing exercise also helps you to calm down and relax. So you want to present something or give a talk, or if you're feeling anxious about something, you can do this breathing. It really helps. Now, how long should you do this? For about 5 minutes. For about 5 minutes. You can do this for several sets in a day. You can do 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the afternoon, 5 minutes in the evening. So you do that, you feel charged, and plus it makes you very, very calm emotionally. So if your mind starts thinking of something that is bothering you, just do this breathing, it will help you. Okay, I repeat, inhale slowly, hold your breath, and then slowly exhale, and then hold your breath, holding just for 1 or 2 seconds. Okay, so some people, to make it very rhythmic, what they do is when they inhale, they count 6. Okay, they hold for 3 seconds, and they exhale for 6 seconds. Again, they hold for 3 seconds, something like that. Okay, or you can do with your own counts, no problem. So the key is you have to pause your breath after inhaling and exhaling. So you do this for about 5 minutes, you feel very, very relaxed. Okay, next, positive affirmation.
Vaibhav, we've lost your voice. Uh, please be a little patient. There are always these little technical glitches.
And visual.
Vaibhav, we've lost the voice. I think there's low network or something. Right. Sure, you'll be back.
I'm so sorry. Where was I actually?
Positive affirmations.
Positive affirmations. Okay, thank you. I'll go back to the slide. Okay, so positive. So if you think about something repeatedly, you actually become that. Okay, so because why that happens? Because it creates the energies or the thought forms in the aura, like I already said. So these things tends to affect you either positively or negatively. If it is a positive thought, it will definitely affect you in a positive way. Now have positive atmosphere around you. Okay, so let's say for example, when you wake up or before you sleep, you should see some kind of positive pictures. Okay, for example, if you want to be successful, you can put a picture that gives you a feeling of success, feeling successful. Okay, people a horse running and winning, or something like that, people who are celebrating a success, something like that. So when you see that, you feel that yes, you're also going to be successful. Now sometimes people put bad pictures in their bedroom, for example, a ship that is sinking, or someone who is crying, they call it as modern art, and they just put all that in the room. They keep seeing that every time. So what happens, they're putting a negative thought in their aura. So always surround yourself with positive pictures and environment so that it helps you. Also, you should be selective when it comes to choosing your friends. If you choose people who are always pessimistic and negative, they will also transfer that negative energy in your aura. I'm not saying run away from people who are negative, but keep minimal communication with them. Because if you have lots of pessimistic people around you, they will also make you feel that way and think that way. Okay, so that is why you should try to develop contacts with more positive people, successful people, who actually makes you feel motivated and encouraged. Okay, so try to reduce your communications with people who actually put you down. Okay, so because if you listen to these people all the time, they will what do you say, even though if you are successful, they will just cripple you. Okay, so that's why be with people who are optimistic, who are positive, and not only they are being positive, they'll support you also. Okay, so these motivators, you should be with them. Okay, then watch positive TV shows. Don't watch these TV serials and other pessimistic shows that actually makes your life already miserable. Okay, so they start showing unwanted things, and especially these crime things and all people see before they sleep. It puts lots of negative thoughts in the aura. Okay, so avoid seeing those things. See some things that are positive. Okay, for example, even if you see this COVID situation, if you start counting number of deaths, okay, it's quite scary. Okay, I'm not saying don't see that, but don't see that all the time, because every hour people are updating, oh, one more person died, this person died, two, every 1 hour 2 people are dying. So all these data you don't need. What you will do with those data? See people who are also recovering. Okay, so if you see that statistics, there is a good number of people who are actually recovering, including elderly people and children. So when you see that, you know that okay, we can beat this. Okay, so see life, try to see life in a positive way. Even if there is something bad that's happening, there is some kind of positive way of seeing it. Okay, so try to develop that kind of habit. And one of the things is face your fear. You're scared of something, face it. It's a kind of immunization. You know what happens in vaccination? They do that only. They give an inactive virus in the body, and the body starts developing immunity for it. So in the same way, if you're, let's say, you're scared of public speaking, okay, try to give small talks, small, very small things. Start with that. Just go on the stage, just introduce the speaker. Okay, something like that. Take small roles, keep facing it, and then you overcome it. Okay, so that is how actually I overcame with my this injection phobia. Okay, I didn't go and take injections, but I started giving blood. You know, I started doing blood donation because I was scared of needles. And you know that the needles used in donation of blood are bigger in size. Okay, initially when I first time I went there, I was freaked out, but still I thought, okay, now I have done pranic healing, I will try this. And I tried. It was absolutely nothing. The pain just lasted for a few seconds. Okay, so sometimes you need to face your fear to overcome that. You are scared of cockroach, just go stand near the cockroach, see what is the worst thing that can happen. Okay, and once you start exposing yourself to your fear, slowly you will overcome that. It's like going to gym. You know, you work out your muscle and the muscle becomes stronger. So when you expose yourself to that fear, you'll become immune to it. Okay, just don't be scared if someone is criticizing you. Just take that criticism as feedback. Just take criticism as feedback. See how you can improve yourself. Okay, so and there are also a lot of people who appreciate whatever you do. Listen to that. Don't give only importance to negative feedbacks you receive. Okay, so but exposed to that also. So when you start exposing yourself to your fears, you will start overcoming that. You will start feeling that, oh, that's it, nothing more. Okay, so gradually you'll overcome that. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So these are some of the methods you can actually use to overcome your fears. Number one, we have pranic healing. We have twin hearts meditation, which you can all join, Nina. Pranic healing also, you can log on to worldpranichealing.com website, and you can enter your city's name. You'll find all the licensed instructors and licensed centers around your locality. You can enroll yourself for the class. Right now, due to COVID, many people are not teaching, but please be patient. They will start teaching and you can enroll for the classes. Then regarding the last part, you start practicing that, you know, thinking positive, being with positive people. Watch a lot of motivational speeches and other things given in, there are a lot of videos like that in YouTube. Try to watch that. And then, you know, start exposing yourself to that fear, what you're scared of. And slowly you'll overcome that. How to overcome the fear of death? No, please don't expose yourself to that. So if you're scared of death, I would strongly suggest you take pranic healing sessions. Okay, and you go to I was scared of dead bodies. Okay, in the past, because I used to watch all these horror movies and I was scared of that. So I started going to these graveyards and I used to observe how they burn the body. Okay, so I was just seeing that, and then I realized that it's all that much. Okay, so it helps you. It helps you to see that, okay, life ultimately it ends there. Okay, so that is something realistic.
Also, the Achieving Oneness with a Higher Soul workshop is an amazing class to overcome that fear.
Yes, yes.
Of death. So there's a whole plethora of classes, workshops that are there. The entry-level ones are the Basic Pranic Healing Workshop and the Achieving Oneness with a Higher Soul Workshop. You can find details of all these workshops on the World Pranic Healing India Foundation page. Like Vaibhav said, there's also a Facebook page, and I'll share also very quickly the screen. You can, if you want, you can take a screenshot. We do this meditation Monday to Friday at 8:35 a.m. We start. It is open to everyone who's above the age of 16. So we explain the meditation and we take you through the meditation, which is the meditation that Vaibhav had mentioned. And to keep updated, you can also, follow us. We are there on social media. Vaibhav is also there on Facebook and on Instagram. So you can always contact him. You can contact us and get all the details. But it would be a good idea to take those classes as and when they open up in your cities. The classes currently are not happening online. Only in a few cities they have started taking the classes in person. So it depends also in which part of the world you are, by the way. So in certain other countries, they have started. Do try and go and take the workshop with an authorized trainer, because sometimes people end up going to a place where they're teaching, but it's not the same thing. So do verify the credentials and take the workshop with an authorized trainer, so you're given the right training and the right teaching. So we can maybe another 5 minutes take a few more questions if ever you have the time.
Okay.
So fear of lizard, fear of big crackers, thunders, lightning, any suggestion?
Fear of lizards. Okay, you have to do some kind of pranayama. Okay, start doing meditation that Nina is teaching, and then you try to stand in front of the lizard and see what happens. Just see it. Okay, you don't have to go close to it. Just see it from distance. Stand there for 5 minutes. Okay, and gradually what happens, if you keep seeing that, gradually you'll realize that that is just a small creature that is there on the wall. And for your information, lizards don't bite like snake. So even though they're venomous when they fall inside your food, otherwise lizards never attack human beings. They don't bite you. So you will realize it the moment you go closer. It will start running away. So you don't have to be scared of that. Now someone is scared of thunder. So for you, I would suggest open YouTube and put your headphones on. Listen to some thunder sound regularly. You'll get used to it, because there are a lot of 8D sounds and all that. Those videos and audios are there. Just listen to that. Just be aware of it. So when and again, do the breathing. Breathing is important. You have to do deep breathing, relax your mind, listen to that, and just listen to it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Just be aware of it. Okay, there are people who actually meditate on the sounds of the nature. Okay, so it starts becoming like a meditation to you. So you start listening to that, and then you'll realize that thunder is just a part of nature. Okay, it exists, and you don't have to be really scared of that. Okay, thank you. So I thank Nina for hosting a lot of sessions with me. Thank you so much for giving me all these opportunities, and all the people who have joined on Zoom and on Facebook. Thank you so much. Like she said, I am also there in Facebook. You can search my name, Vaibhav B. You'll find me on Facebook and Instagram also. You can follow us, and you'll get updates of all the sessions we actually conduct. Okay, so I hope the session helped you all. So thanks to each one of you. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you, Nina.
You can always contact a certified pranic healer also for healing sessions. There are healing sessions for fear, for phobias. You can always take a healing for that. It's very, very effective. Like Vaibhav had demonstrated just now, not only physical pain, but emotionally, mentally, all these things can be taken care of by healing, because all these things are just energy. So you can actually learn to heal yourself, or if you want to just experience a healing session, you can contact a healer in your location. It can be done distantly. You don't have to go to them like Vaibhav did it distantly today. So you can actually just contact someone and take healing as well. All right. So again, thank you, Vaibhav, for taking the time. Very, very grateful for all the sharing. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. These sessions make sense when there is an audience to listen and to be, sharing with. So thank you all. This session will be available on Facebook. You can watch it there as well. Have a great evening. Namaste.